we do at USA Prepares. The motivation for the Get Prepared Expo we hosted 2 weekends ago was to help people get prepared for any level of disaster, including the natural disaster like the devastating tornado in Joplin. As a matter of fact, the guest scheduled to appear on the radio program today was retired Army Major George Wheelock. However, he will not be calling in due to him volunteering his services in the recovery efforts in Joplin. Now, Vince, we know about assisting the victims of the Joplin tornado as well. Would you like to let our listeners know what we did all day yesterday?
I sure would, Mark. You and I drove out to Joplin, and we spent the day looking at the carnage, the wreckage, the sad faces, the devastation. It was just awful. And you know, people have lost everything. Imagine 1 minute you have a house, you have a car, you have all your possessions, and a few minutes later they're distributed all over the county. You know, if you have medicines, they're gone. Your personal possessions are gone. Your toothbrush is gone. Your car has been sent down the road, rolled over, crushed. That's what we saw. It was the worst carnage I've ever seen, except for photos of bombings during the wars. It was just awful. And you know, there were some tears, there was some sadness, and people, relatives and friends would come upon relatives and friends, and they would hug each other, and they would get back to business, and they would dig themselves out on their own. It was something that was memorable. We took a lot of pictures, and we've posted them on our website. So if you want to see some real photos taken by real guys on the ground, not expert photographers, not a camera crew, just two ordinary guys, we took some pictures, and we posted them on the website, and we have maybe 100 more that we're going to add. So if you'd like to see it, you can go to USAPrepares.com. That's USAPREPARES.com, and we have a tab that has a photo section, and you can go to that, and we show our expo and some more pleasant photos about the expo, and then below that there's pictures of the carnage.
You know, Vincent, I don't know when Katrina hit. What was it, 6-7 years ago now? I was in the Missouri legislature, and the pictures that I saw on the TV were devastating and really touched my heart. And I actually helped organize a group of about a dozen or more legislators and staff members in the Missouri House, and we went down on behalf of the state of Missouri, SEMA, the Missouri State Emergency Management Association, and we went to Kill, Mississippi, and then we went to Biloxi, Mississippi. And we came in there during the evening. And that next morning, I was on the beach front when the sun came up. And I was there just 2 months prior to Katrina hitting. And I looked around, and finally, after about 5 minutes, I figured out where I was. I was on that same section of beach 2 months previous. And the utter destruction so traumatized me that I broke down and started to cry. I could not help it. It looked like a nuclear bomb had went off on that Gulf Coast, and I'd never seen anything like it in my life, never experienced anything like it until yesterday when I went to Joplin, Missouri, and we were in the middle of that neighborhood, and it looked like the exact same thing that happened in Katrina on the Gulf Coast. We saw, Katrina, there was 125 mile per hour winds. It was a F4 category.
That's right. Down
in Joplin, it was an F5 category tornado, 200 plus mile per hour winds, and it completely ripped trees out of the ground. It swept houses right off of concrete
pads.
Absolutely.
Garages.
We saw semis twisted like pretzels, thrown about. We saw steel building structures where the steel had collapsed, twisted, broke. Such amazing force that I have not witnessed since I saw Katrina on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, that's correct. And the people that had a chance had strong structures, and they had basements and storm shelters. Those are the people that fared better than those that didn't. And Mark, George Wheelock, who would be on the air with us right now if he weren't in the search and rescue team, and I talked last night, and they're still finding bodies. Yesterday they found 25, and of the 25, 2 were alive, which is good news. But they're not done. There's still 20 to 30% more search and rescue that needs to be done as of maybe 2 o'clock in the morning last night.
There's been reports that up to 1,500 people are still missing.
That's correct.
Unaccounted for. Now, many of those may have left the city and went to other places to be with family and friends. But I suspect, based upon what I saw there yesterday, Vince, that it will be many weeks, maybe more than a month, before they are able to get to the victims.
That sounds correct to me. Mark, if you look at what they've got, here's what they've got. They've got no commerce. They've got no food, no gas, no diesel, no water, no drinkable water, no electricity, no land telephone lines, and they've got spotty cell service. They've got, at best, marginal medical care, and a lot of people have no homes, no place to go.
Joplin, Missouri, as a functional city, exists no more, and it will take a lot. It'll take a lot of years for it to recover to the extent that the way we once knew Joplin. It's an utter catastrophe, and the people that hear my voice right now, you need to know that Joplin, Missouri needs you. They need you in the worst kind of way. And if you hear anybody telling you, don't volunteer, don't come, disregard it, that is absolutely poor advice. We were down there yesterday, and the whole motivation that we did for the Get Prepared Expo, Vince, what we talked about leading up to the expo, why we were doing the Get Prepared Expo 2 weeks ago, and it was to prepare people for emergencies and disasters. And what did we say on this radio program leading up to the Get Prepared Expo? In a major catastrophe or disaster, you can't depend upon the government to be everywhere, because they can't be everywhere, and we found that out firsthand yesterday when we were in Joplin. We met multiple families that had no assistance. They hadn't seen anybody. We were the very first volunteers that they saw in almost 48 hours. And so that just proves our point about the Get Prepared Expo. You have to prepare yourself. Your family and your neighbors have to pull together in this time of crisis, because in many instances, that's the only help you're going to receive.
Mark, we've said on stage, we've said on rallies, we've said on the air, except for your family, except for your close friends, you are on your own. And that's what we saw yesterday at Ground Zero.
And there's a lot of wonderful organizations down there that are trying their very best, but the catastrophe is so sparse and so large, and there's so many people that need help, and people need to go down there. We went down there. You and I helped people pull appliances out of their home, help clean up their yard. People need a lot of stuff.
Mark, you were not approved to go down there. I was not approved to go down there. Several other people that we know were not approved to go down there. But independently, without talking to each other, we all went down there. And what we saw upon arrival in Duquesne was a sign that said, volunteers needed. We took a picture of that sign. It's on our website. The people there are asking, crying out for help. The media is saying, do not deploy on your own. Now, what's wrong?
Well, that media message is absolutely irresponsible. When we went down there, Vince, what we saw was wonderful church organization, church groups that were organizing people, that were taking supplies to people. We saw individuals. You want to tell people about the business that we met from Arkansas that was just absolutely phenomenal?
Yeah, Mark, we saw a startup business that was booming, absolutely booming. A couple guys from Arkansas decided they were going to set up shop, and they had a hamburger trailer. with a cooker, a charcoal cooker. And what they did was they pulled off to the side of the road and into a parking lot, and they started cooking hamburgers. And they wrote on the side of their white trailer, "Free food." Free food. And they were making hamburgers, and people were coming up to them, and they were delivering hamburgers. And other people saw that booming business, and they decided that they were going to contribute other items that were needed. Toiletries, toilet paper, toothpaste. Then fruit came, and then snacks came, and then soft drinks came, and then water came. And within a very short time, these two guys had a booming business. They became a convenience store.
And that was within an hour and a half.
Yeah. And I said to the owner of this booming business, "How much profit do you expect to make by the end of the day?" And he said, we expect that we're going to be able to retire on the smiles that we've gotten by the end of the day."
Well, that's an amazing story, and we'll expand on that and a lot of other wonderful stories when we get back in just a minute. This is Mark and Vince on the USA Prepares radio program on 1340 AM, the Ozarks Big Talker. And after a short break, we have some more amazing stories about the Joplin tornado.
Watch the greenbacks tumble. Feel the starlight crumble.
Christian singles all over the Ozarks are joining Equally Yoked. They've discovered that Equally Yoked is the best place to meet local Christian singles.
At letsmove.gov, a message from the Ad Council and HHS.
And we're back on USA Prepares on 1340 AM, the Ozarks Big Talker. I'm Mark Wright, and my co-host, the original survival economist, Vincent Finelli. And as we headed into the break, Vincent, we were talking about this small business that came up from Arkansas and became a repository of multiple different products: water, food, toiletries. It was just amazing. That guy wouldn't take a dime. Matter of fact, there was a story about the lady. Do you want to talk about the lady coming up and trying to throw money at him, and they wouldn't take it?
Sure. There's a lady drove up, and she wanted to buy a hamburger. She had enough money to buy a hamburger. And these two gentlemen from Arkansas refused to take her money. So they gave her the hamburger, and she said, "No, I want to pay for it." And they said, "No, you can't do it. We're not going to take your money." So she gave him a $50 bill because she wanted to support the cause. And that is America. That is what we are. And that's who we are. And that kind of brings tears to your eyes.
It does. I went and talked to that lady after I saw what she did, and I was so touched by what she did. And I started to speak with her. Matter of fact, I interviewed her on my BlackBerry, and we can't play that clip, unfortunately. But it's fascinating. The spirit of America in our darkest hour seems to shine the brightest, and you saw that. You see that right now in Joplin, Missouri, among the people, and the people are coming from all around the United States to help. And you know what? They're just reaching out as individuals, as churches, as private organizations. FEMA and SEMA and the Red Cross, all those people are down there, trying to organize in the situation. But it's individuals that are reaching out. How many flags have we seen pop up? You've seen the 9/11 flag?
Sure we have.
With the flag and the destruction of the building, the towers in the background. We have a photo like that of a metal shop that is completely entangled in metal and steel, and somebody erected a American flag right in front of it. We took a picture of it. It's an emotional picture. You can go to usaprepares.com, hit our photo tab, and take a look at it. But man, when I first saw it, I didn't know if I wanted to cry or smile. Well, the emotion that it emitted from my heart was just amazing.
Well, when I first saw it before I took the picture, I know you took some and I took some, I paused, and it was a very emotional moment in my life, seeing that American flag, because among all the destruction, someone said, by placing that flag, "Here's who we are. We are going to rebuild. It's going to be okay.